This show is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome to Wall Street Raw on this Memorial Day weekend, May 28th. Welcome me back, my good friend Sinclair No from EatTheBankers.com and financial commentator 1510 KFNN Phoenix. Thanks for joining us again this Saturday morning, Sinclair.
Always a pleasure, Mark. Thank you.
So we have the jawboning going on again on the part of the Fed. When the market seems to rally, they get a bit more hawkish. When the market pulls back, they get a little bit more dovish. Same game. It's just going on all week. We had James Bullard speaking during the week. In fact, a couple times I think he came out with comments and gave us a little bit of misdirection there. I thought it was going.
That's right.
And John Williams, president of the San Francisco Fed, came out earlier in the week. What do you say? Well, I mean, I don't think they're going up, but maybe they're just trying to make themselves look smart.
I think we had just about everybody speaking from the Fed this past week. John Williams, San Francisco Fed, James Bullard, St. Louis Fed, Eric Rosengren, Boston Fed. We had Kashkari, we had Powell, we had Janet Yellen. I mean, it seems as if they wanted to jawbone. And, of course, that's probably to be expected. If they want to leave open the idea of a rate hike in June, they've got to communicate it. Now, the question is, have they gone so far that if they don't hike rates in June, are they acting like the little boy who cried wolf? Do they lose a little bit of credibility if they don't raise rates in June at this point? Well, they could always come back and say, we wanted to wait and see what happens with the Brexit. That might be something. But quite frankly, at this point, if they get a good, solid jobs report next week, and if they have some indication that the Brexit referendum is not going to go through and Great Britain stays in the EU, then we're probably looking at a rate hike. And ultimately, it doesn't really matter whether it's June or July. We'll get a rate hike this summer unless, stuff falls apart. So I think the markets need to get used to it.
Okay, well, we'll see what the market's doing around mid-June when the time comes. I think if the market's having a bit of a problem, I suspect it won't happen. Meanwhile, the big...
certainly could be the case. I mean,
yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
They're playing to the markets. There's no question about it.
Right. I mean, that's really the whole point of this conversation is that, we have this independent federal agency supposedly doing their job and doing all this analytical work and trying to create full employment and low inflation, and they're out there playing around with the markets. That's the problem.
Well, that's their job, isn't it?
They rig the markets.
They've got two mandates, but their job is to keep the markets afloat and work for the banks that basically make up the Fed.
They're doing a good job then. We got to give them an A this week.
Yeah, we give them an A with a little gold star.
So crude oil popped over $50 a barrel. I got a tweet from our friend Jim Cramer at the Mad Money, and he had a couple dogs jumping around in the air catching balls, and they were supposedly celebrating the fact that crude oil hit $50 a barrel. So that was enough for me to get short.
Good move. Kramer as the contrary indicator. I like it.
Well, euphoria with crude oil at 50. Technically it has been in an uptrend, and you don't want to fight it, but sure looks a bit extended there. So I thought, any comment on the crude oil market? What's going on there?
Extended is an understatement. You realize that we've gone 80% now, since the lows of February. That is a really fast rally, a really big rally as well. And at a certain point, you would imagine that the speculation will get taken out of this a little bit, and we'll get back to something resembling supply and demand. And on that front, you've got the Canada wildfires being brought under control, so Canada's going to start pumping some more back in. Saudi Arabia, Iran over in OPEC. Do we really think that they're going to have anything in the way of production cuts or any kind of a freeze on production? And then as we get to this $50 level, there are going to be some producers in the U.S. that are going to say, good enough for me. I got some big debt service to deal with. I'm going to start pumping oil, whereas it wasn't profitable to do so at 30 or 35. Now we're right back around 50. I can get a few bucks out of this. I can pay down some debt. They're going to pump oil again. And maybe there's a little bit of a change in demand, but not that much. This whole rally has been overdone, plain and simple. So, I would anticipate that at some point, whether it's 50, 55, or 60, we start to see the market start to pull back a little bit.
Big move. I mean, basically, crude oil doubled.
Yeah, it's an enormous move. That's just an incredible move in a very short period of time. For a commodity like that, that move does not reflect supply and demand in the equation. You don't see an 80% move in a matter of 3 months based solely upon supply and demand unless something incredible happened. And it didn't. It was basically just speculation the whole way through. Now, maybe we went a little bit far when we dropped down into the 20s, but still, this is just pure speculation, and it's been overdone at this point.
And we can argue that the big decline we saw was a bit of speculation, perhaps on the downside as well. So.
Sure, absolutely. The bears got hold of it for a while and chewed it up and probably overdid it one way, but the pendulum swings wide both ways.
Sinclair, we have to take a break here. We'll have Sinclair back in just a moment, joining us here on Wall Street Raw. Thank you for taking the time, and we'll be back with Sinclair, and we have a lot more to cover. Yeah, at the moment, our guest has to go take a little bit of a break, so we'll be back here on segment 2 with Sinclair in just a moment. But just to remind you a little bit from our comments previously to this weekend, we do tend to have a pattern of the markets reversing direction ahead of long holiday weekends, and certainly this is one of them. So the markets were at a bit of a correction. As you know, gold was rallying, and everything sort of reversed here this past week. Now, I'm still in the sell May, go away mode, but you could get a bit of a bounce here, as we've seen, and maybe will extend into June, the so-called summer rally. But I think overall we're still in a near-term negative environment. I think we're still entering a recession. We do have to trade what's in front of us, and we did trade quite a bit this past week and did well in several individual situations here at vrtrader.com, or you can access it at WallStreetRaw.com. But still, the numbers say to me, be careful here. This was a nice technical rally here prior to the weekend, or maybe a little bit of a summer bounce. We're back with Sinclair in just a few moments, so stay tuned here, and thanks for joining us at Wall Street Raw.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. MiniCPAP.com now offers a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's called the Transcend Mini CPAP, and right now you can try it risk-free for 10 days by calling 1-800-945-9289. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. Call minicpap.com now for your 10-day at-home trial. 1-800-945-9289. That's 1-800-945-9289.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
My dad was 59 when he collapsed from a heart attack late last year. Just this past August was when we spread his ashes on the St. Croix River. I loved my dad, but boy was he stubborn. He hadn't been to the doctor in over 25 years. His excuse? He simply couldn't afford it. He wasn't a rich man by any means. At less than $107 per month, LibertyOnCall.org would have been the perfect alternative for my father. Don't wait. Go to LibertyOnCall.org right now, for not just your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones. Again, that's LibertyOnCall.org.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the Internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
There's nothing more enticing and intoxicating than the finest meat cooking on an open flame. Freeze-dried meat from NewHarvest.com is U.S. grown, 100% all natural with no extra fillers. Just grass-fed beef and free-range chicken guaranteed to stay fresh and delicious. Add New Harvest freeze-dried meats to your current food storage. You'll buy direct from the factory, not a third party, ensuring the best price and the highest quality. See all our products at NewHarvestFoods.com. That's NewHarvestFoods.com.
Think big. Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw radio show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
welcoming back our good friend Sinclair No after the break. And Sinclair, of course, is the editor and publisher of EatTheBankers.com and financial commentator KFNN Phoenix 1510. Sinclair, we have, I think it's 16 of the world's largest banks are facing antitrust lawsuits accusing them of harming investors who brought securities tied to the LIBOR rigging. A lot going on this week there.
This was potentially a big deal. It's a ruling out of an appellate court, and the appellate judges reversed a lower court ruling on one issue, whether the investors had adequately claimed in their complaints to have been harmed, sending the cases back for the judge to consider another issue, whether the plaintiffs are the proper party to sue. In part, this is a big deal because you could see triple damages, and that might just kind of overwhelm some of these banks. The ruling by the three-judge panel opens up the possibility that the banks could end up paying billions more than they've already paid, which is about $9 billion in fines related to LIBOR, the London Interbank Offered Rate. And of course, that's an interest rate that gets involved in everything from credit cards to student loans to mortgages. The plaintiffs, and it was a wild grouping of plaintiffs that were involved in this, pension funds. I think even the Church of England was one of the plaintiffs. They basically say the banks colluded to depress LIBOR to minimize the amount that they had to pay on investments linked to the benchmark. The appellate court overturned a 2013 ruling which said the investors had failed to show they had been harmed in a way that would permit them to sue under the antitrust law. The original judge in the case was saying, oh, well, they set the rate, and so they're the lender and the borrower. They would obviously be offsetting anything that they do. They're just setting a rate. What's the harm there? As if they hadn't been skimming off along the way and damaging along the way, and in fact misrepresenting their condition in the 2008-2009 downturn. Case remanded back to the lower court. We could see where this whole thing goes, and this could be, we're not going to see criminal charges, but this could be one of the biggest fines that could come out of this thing that we've seen so far. Enough to the point where it could really hurt the banks.
It's just amazing, Sinclair. You know, we just have crooked banks. I mean, how else do we phrase it, right? It's been going on for years. It just keeps on going. It's the ever-ready bunny.
Well, it's LIBOR, it's ISDA fix, it's Forex, it's COMEX, it's the bond market, it's the stock market. Everything that the banks touch, they rig because they can't play the game fairly. Plain and simple, they're just skimming money, massive amounts of money. They're skimming money out of the economy, and we're all paying for it, quite frankly.
I did a piece this week in my gold letter about the manipulation in the gold market, and you had some big banks involved in that coming out with admitting guilt. We can talk about that perhaps next week. So all those who thought it was only conspiracy in the gold market saw, actual proof and litigation this past week come out as well. So it's all over the place. Interesting story this week.
Side note on that, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're trying a couple of traders. LIBOR traders with a D. These are just mid-level guys. They're trying them for criminal charges. Meanwhile, all this stuff going on in a multi-trillion-dollar market, and we're expected to believe that none of the higher-up executives knew a thing about it. Ridiculous.
Well, also interesting this week, Sinclair, we get our dandruff up on this one, so we have to really, keep our blood pressure up, so we have to really keep our cool with these bank stories. NASDAQ rejected a listing application from a social networking cannabis company called MassRoots, MSRT, on the grounds that it may aid in the use of dealing of an illegal substance. Now, you and I know there's about maybe 200-300 publicly traded companies. Now, maybe they're not on the big NASDAQ board, but they're over-the-counter, pink sheets or whatever, that are in the marijuana business and trading, some penny stocks, but, some others a little bit more than a penny. And out of the blue, NASDAQ rejects this because it was an illegal substance. So the rejection asserts roadblocks ahead for other cannabis-related companies and perhaps fundraising for a growing industry. I thought this really was perverse.
Well, first of all, let me say that you are one of the few people anywhere that actually tracks those stocks in your Vice letter, and you do a great job of it because they're just not getting any coverage. So it's a really interesting area. Secondly, isn't it so great that NASDAQ has taken this high road of morality on stocks that they will allow to be traded on their exchange? And marijuana, anything related to marijuana, not that Massroots actually sells marijuana, but anything related to it, that's just not acceptable. No way will they allow that because NASDAQ is just too high and mighty. Meanwhile, they'll take alcohol vendors, they'll take people who sell guns and weaponry, they'll take people who manufacture opioids, which are killing thousands upon thousands of Americans right now. I'm glad that we have somebody looking out for our moral well-being when it comes to trading stocks, and I'm glad that NASDAQ has chosen themselves to be our moral arbiters. So
it's also an inconsistency, the fact that there are companies already trading in the space, so they just picked on this particular one, or maybe it's being applied for at a higher level on NASDAQ, but it just was just a total non sequitur as far as I can see. Sinclair, thank you for joining us. Always more subjects than we have time to cover. Thank you. We'll be back with you next week. We're speaking to Sinclair No, financial commentator, KFNN Phoenix 1510, and author of EatTheBankers.com.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, on the gold price manipulation story, we didn't get a chance to really go all over it, but while everyone was focusing on the too big to fail bank story, which, as you know, brought the economy down in 2008. Other big banks were busy scheming investors in a different way, in a stunning victory for conspiracy theorists. And I guess I've been accused of that myself within precious metal space. Overnight, this week, Deutsche Bank not only agreed to settle a lawsuit accusing it of manipulating the silver fix, but also agreed to help the plaintiffs pursue similar claims against other banks as part of the settlement, providing instant messages and other communication. So we know that's been going on for a long time. And we've had Bill Murphy on Gather joining us talking about it. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the break. Thanks for joining us on Wall Street Raw.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis. 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks on Site for friendly, certified computer repair experts available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682. 1-800-591-1682.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507.
This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com.
Welcoming a special guest this Saturday morning on Wall Street Raw, a friend, Jean-Michel Nahon, who is a commodity specialist with extensive experience in the hedging, trading, and arbitrage of commodities using derivatives, including futures, options, and swaps. He also developed significant expertise in structuring private equity deals and financing when he co-founded Pepperstone Capital, where he orchestrated several attempts to acquire multi-million-dollar failing banks. It's actually multi-billion-dollar failing banks in FDIC-assisted deals with KBW and first-tier private equity firms. He entered the financial industry in the late 1980s on the Merrill Lynch trading desk in New York, and he joined Groupe Roussan S.A. Paris, where he headed the swaps and options department and was named to the executive board. He's got some interesting situation we want to talk about this morning. As you know, here on Wall Street Raw, we don't only talk about stocks. There are plenty of other alternative investments out there, and this is one of the reasons I have Jean-Michel on the show today. Being only in the stock market is foolish. A lot of risks in the market, a lot of volatility, and we always talk about hard assets and other ways of playing the investment game. So with all the rigging going on Wall Street, this is right up my alley, and I want to introduce Jean-Michel to you. Good morning, John. Thank you for being with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me on.
So your company, IAF, Integrated Ag Financial, what is it? Tell me a little bit about it.
So, Mark, Integrated Ag Financial with private equity arm, which is IAF Ventures, operates in the multi-billion-dollar ag investment space. And the way it does things is to structure limited partnerships to take advantage of very specific private equity investments. As an alternative investment class, it tends to target a very elevated risk-adjusted return, and it tends to protect against inflation, recession. So that's a type of business model based on real assets where we're trying to provide some diversification to an average portfolio. So the way it works is it takes control of physical commodities. So farming entities develop farms using the latest technology, make the right investments, and it uses that control of physical commodities to generate upside return on the commodities, the ag commodities market. So that could be corn, that could be cotton. Right now we're doing a lot of alfalfa because the prices of the other commodities are not that attractive. Alfalfa is a basic ration for a milk cow, so basically the whole dairy industry relies on alfalfa as a high-quality ration. And we produce here in Arizona, where we're mostly located. We also look at some land in California. We produce high-quality alfalfa that is exported throughout the world, especially in Asian countries, China, Japan. There is global demand for that product. It's a product that is relatively easy to produce. There's great visibility. Once you have the right technology in place, you're in pretty good shape. And you get a cutting we get about 10 to 11 cuttings a year. And that's, so far, has been pretty successful in terms of achieving returns of somewhere between 12 and 20% over the life of an investment. Now, the life of an investment is about 5 to 6 years. That's usually how we structure our private equity deal.
It's really amazing because we're talking about alfalfa or, perhaps corn or soybeans or other commodities here versus, the stock market. But in particular, I know that you're utilizing some high technology. Can you tell us a little about that, how you're actually producing this alfalfa? From what I read and what I saw, it was amazing.
Yes. So one of the angle that makes a difference in the way we invest is that we believe that to be able to produce more with less, which is a basic challenge that I think everybody is confronted to in the ag industry right now, less water, less resources, and a need to produce a lot more. Technology is a key answer. And to do that, we have looked at the places where the best technology is being developed. And one of these areas is obviously Silicon Valley, which is coming up with incredible technology that, is really going to be a game changer. And some of that technology is being implemented in our farms, and that's the only place in the U.S. Right now where it's being implemented. Another place for incredible technology in terms of irrigation is, and it's well known, is Israel. A lot of it comes from Israel. Very advanced technology here again. Proven technology. Some of it has been proven in New Zealand and Australia, so in semi-arid land before. And it is now being implemented in some of our farms here in the U.S., in the southwest U.S. So, yes, the type of technology we use is basically the idea that the ground now, we have the ability to get information real-time or near real-time information from the ground. We put sensor systems in different soil types all throughout our field. And those sensors relay information every 20 to 30 minutes. That information goes straight to the cloud. All our pivot system, we use pivot systems, have cell power, so that information can be broadcasted straight to the cloud. And then, of course, we have a big data situation where all that information is aggregated and is analyzed through algorithms. At that point, decisions are made by the algorithm to maintain a moisture level very close to the optimal level. And obviously, when you are in a desert area, water and moisture is everything. So we have plenty of sun. We have great conditions. The weather is very predictable, which as an investment is exactly what we want. We don't want to be in a situation where we don't know what the weather is going to bring. In places like Arizona, we have very good visibility. In the southwest U.S., that's usually what happens. We have very good visibility in terms of weather. We know it's a desert. We know it's going to be hot and sunny most of the time, and we know it's going to be dry. So the challenge is to keep moisture level near optimum level. And that can be achieved now thanks to big data and thanks to automation. And that's exactly what happened.
John Michel, we're running out of time for our segment, so can you stay with us for a second segment, and we'll finish up your thoughts here. We're talking to John Michael from IAF, Integrated Ag Financial. We're talking about alfalfa, an alternate investment, and we'll be back after the break. Thank you for staying with us here. Yes, we have to take a little bit of a break here, John Michael, and we're going to be back talking more about the alternative investment, in this case, believe it or not, alfalfa versus the stock market. Stay tuned. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market tsunami, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free Vice News Raw report. You will receive it weekly, and it is totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw report at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com for your free weekly report from Mark Leibovit and WallStreetRaw.com.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA-certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey water filters, for the love of clean water.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
Fresh liquid whey was so valuable to the improvement of health that in the 1800s there were 160 spas set up in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria to dispense fresh liquid whey to the sick and aged. The results were restored health and a return of youth. Fresh liquid whey supplies the most easily digested of all proteins and ranks higher in protein value than the egg. Unfortunately, the current methods of processing whey causes proteins to twist, fold, and become denatured. This makes them non-functional in the body. Like a lock and key, proteins do not work in the body unless they retain the shape that nature gave them. We at Synergistic Nutrition believe that our technological enhancements restore the protein structures of our whey to the shapes that nature originally gave them. The results that One World Whey has generated for so many, over several years now, testifies that One World Whey is producing very positive results. For a limited time, one or more of the flavors or sizes of One World Whey are on sale. Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
A good stove is at the top of the list for any serious survivalist. That's why you have to see the full range at emberlit.com. Simple, elegant, but extraordinarily efficient. Available in titanium or stainless steel, the Emberlit line of stoves are ultralight, pack flat, and work great. Fueled only by sticks and debris. From emergency situations to long-term survival, Emberlit stoves are up to the task. Emberlit, the most convenient, easy-to-carry wood stoves on the planet. See them all at emberlit.com.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcoming back my special guest this Saturday morning, John Michael Nahone from IAF, Integrated Ag Financial. We ran a little bit of time here on our previous segment. Let's pick up where we left off. We were talking about the technology and the water levels in monitoring and growing the alfalfa in Arizona.
Yes. So basically, and I'm going to summarize it in a couple of sentences. Technology allows us to keep moisture level very close to optimal level, but that's not just moisture. It's also chemical levels. We tend to use a lot less, which is good, and get better results because, once again, we're listening to the ground, and so that's what technology can do. We have very performant irrigation systems, state-of-the-art, that can deliver, using variable rate irrigation, can deliver the amount of water or chemical needed for optimal growth. So we use technology. Another thing that we use to achieve those results, even though the overall commodity prices tend to be, probably at the lower end of the spectrum right now, is we have special agreements with a few Indian tribes. And as part of that agreement, we tend to have significant advantages. One of them is the price of water. And obviously that's a big deal when you do something like alfalfa, which consumes a lot of water. It's actually the crop that consumes most water of all crops. So when you combine all those advantages, so basically what we do is, as a private equity group, as an investment group, we bring management skills, we bring specially negotiated deals, and a high level of very advanced technology. And as a result, even in the current environment, we tend to do pretty well for the investor overall. And as a diversification tool, of course.
So speaking of investors, I know that you limit your investment to accredited investors. So let's talk about that for a moment. What is an accredited investor, and what are your general requirements for investing?
Yes, here I do have to say that investments in IAF partnerships are pretty exclusive. They are reserved to accredited investors like family offices, large net worth individuals. And even that does not guarantee the ability to get in. You see, Mark, the weakness with this business model is that we can't scale it up infinitely. So it's not like a hedge fund that can go from $100 million to $5 billion and still pretty much follow the same investment strategy. For us, it all depends on how many deals we can negotiate, how much land we can put in production, and obviously there's a limit. And so we tend to be oversubscribed, as you well know, almost every time now. But those deals are really reserved for high net worth individuals. And that makes sense because if you have a $30,000 portfolio, you probably can't really be in those deals. The minimum amount that we take as an investment is $300,000. The median amount is around $700,000. Family offices usually pour in between $1 and $3 million.
I know that you said you're staying clear of buying land. You said you are leasing land, and that seems like an interesting model. What's your opinion regarding farmland and why you're not considering buying farmland versus leasing?
So because we are trying to bring significant short-term yields to investors, I mean, over the life of an investment of 5 or 6 years, which in private equity is very little time, we have to average an internal rate of return of around, we're targeting around 15% a year. We really can't go into real estate. That's a very, very different deal. In addition, we don't really think it's the right time to do it. I mean, at this point, if you look at the situation, commodities prices, the ag commodities are actually down. They are at the lower end of the spectrum in terms of pricing. However, farm pricing, which had a really nice run-up about 6-7 years ago, it's just stable. It hasn't caught up with much lower prices in the commodities. So I think there is a down leg there somewhere. And as a result, we have refrained from buying any land, even though that would give us the ability to scale up our investments.
We have about a minute left. John Michael, tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you and learn more about Integrated Ag Financial. What's the best way to reach you?
Well, accredited investors can contact the office. IAF is located in Scottsdale, and the best way would be probably to either send an email at administration@iafinvestments.com or call the office at 480-214-9771.
Let me repeat that. So to reach John Michael and learn more about the current alfalfa situation and the opportunity that exists there, you can go to iafinvestments.com. That's iafinvestments.com and learn about it, or give him a call at 480-214-9771. Well, we ran out of time on our second segment, John Michael. Thank you so much. It's really an opportunity to get our listeners to learn a little bit about another opportunity versus the stock market or other markets. So thank you, and we really appreciate your time this Saturday morning. Thanks for joining us.
It's always a pleasure to be on, Mark. Take care.
Thank you again, John Michael, and of course, thank you, Sinclair No, for joining us earlier in the show as well. Lot covering this week in the markets, but basically, where are we? As you know, I think you need to be diversified. I'm not that sanguine about the stock market. I think we're in that sell may go away period, and maybe even the beginning of a bear market, which could last a year or two. Of course, we trade what's in front of us at vrtrader.com, but corporate earnings have now been declining for 6 consecutive quarters. Yet the bulls tell us just how great it's going to be, as I think the 7-year bull market comes to an end. In fact, there's some cyclical peaks that show there have been tops in 7 years. Cycle peaks in recent analysis. So the Dow Jones and the S&P are being used as tools to propagate the illusion that everything is okay. But if you open the hood a little bit and you see what's happening with indices like the Russell 2000 or the New York Stock Exchange Composite or with the Dow Transports, that tells you that the bigger indices are being manipulated, and there's also telltale signs that big institutional stock liquidation has been occurring. So We've got manipulation going on out there. This is nothing new. I've been writing about market rigging for almost 30 years, following the formation of the Working Group of Financial Markets created by Ronald Reagan when he signed Executive Order 12631 back on March 18th, 1988, only months following the infamous 1987 stock market crash. You've seen government involvement there. If you want to go way, way back, we have the U.S. Exchange Stabilization Fund, which was established at the Treasury Department by a provision of the Gold Reserve Act back in January 31st, 1934, and it was intended as a response to Britain's exchange equalization account. That the fund began operations in 1934 and has been active in the markets, both gold and in currencies. So the Gold Reserve Act authorized them to use their assets as needed to stabilize the markets, and of course you can rationalize what stabilization is. So again, caution out there. We're getting a correction in the precious metals, which is temporary in my opinion. Stocks may experience a little bit more of a summer pop, but caution is the byword, and we got to trade, as I said, what's in front of us and day to day, which we do with vrtrader.com. So I encourage you to check over there as need be. So thank you for joining us here at Wall Street Raw. I really appreciate Sinclair taking time this week, and John Michael, and looking at alternate investments out there besides the stock market itself. And we do that at our newsletter every week and every day, trying to diversify a little bit and recognizing that with the rigging going on minute to minute here, you've got to be careful about what you're doing and how you're acting in the markets or believing what you hear in the financial media. And speaking of that, as we close each week, my good friend Ed Hart from Financial News Network used to say, we will know in the fullness of time.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas, is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest price filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.